Hi everybody, this is Helene from Stitch 56 and I'm here with Pamela Cupit from The Maker's Journal. This is our very first audio. I thought given our new website I'd do something different, so I hope you enjoy this. My intention is that you get to know Pamela and her patterns in a whole new way. The first time I met Pamela and she talked to me about her patterns, I thought, oh my God, you have to know about this. So this is what today's about. Sit back, grab a cup of coffee and enjoy. Could you just tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to start The Maker's Journal?
Originally, I studied fashion design and I worked for importers in Melbourne. So I would be travelling up to Asia, putting collections together and selling them to major retailers in the city. And after a while, I got into buying and I worked specifically for mail order catalogues. At that stage, the internet was just starting to take off, but the majority of what I was buying for was catalogues, so printed images on a page that you would mail out to someone and they would order via the phone or fax or email. I did that for about 14 years and then I just decided that I would like to have a different kind of life. So I started my own accessory business called Collezione Alessandro, and I import a collection of accessories through some friends who are based in Germany, and I distribute those around Australia. I also work part-time in a gallery, which I really love, puts me in touch with lots of other creative people. I wanted to also get back into design. I didn't want to design collections and make clothes after buying for so many years and buying clothes in that sort of mass market segment. I wanted to actually design but do something completely different. I didn't exactly know what it was that I was going to do. And then one day I was in a fabric store and I saw one of those beautiful Japanese pattern books. Wow, this is so beautiful. And there was a lot of integrity in terms of the photography and the design direction, and they were just beautifully presented, printed onto beautiful paper, and I found it really inspiring. So I did some research and discovered this whole world of people producing independent patterns, and I thought, oh yeah, I think I can carve out a niche for myself. So that's where I sort of put my creative juices to work, I guess.
Fantastic, because I think that's exactly what's inspired me back to sewing again. Now it's kind of, there's this resurgence of a love of sewing, but with a whole modern kind of touch to it. How did you come up with the name, The Maker's Journal?
I was going for a country drive with a friend of mine and we just started talking about it, and it happened in the course of about a minute. Sprang out of who knows where. We kind of wanted this idea of old world meets modern. It sort of harks back to the sewing journals of the 1940s and 50s.
This is the bit that had me gobstopped. Tell us about what goes into actually the production of the pattern itself.
Maybe I'll use the Freddie vest as an example. I had this image of Freddie Mercury. I love Queen, and he was an amazing character. There was this shot that I had in my head of this white satin jacket that he wore, and it was just this beautiful cut back that sort of arched up, and I loved that picture, and he's singing in it, and it just stuck in my head. And one day I just grabbed my fabric stand and some calico and started mimicking that back shape of the jacket, and I just draped the front on the stand. So I made it all in calico, and what's great about working that way is you just draw and pin. So then I take it off the dummy and then you unpin it and you then put it down on the paper and draft a pattern from it, add on the seam allowances, and then I made the first pattern. So I just then fit it back onto the dummy and make any alterations just to get the fit perfect. Then I made up the first photography sample, and after that the pattern is graded into its sizes. Once that's done, I work with a graphic designer to take those graded patterns. I get the graphic designer to transfer that into a format that can be printed. Then I work on the actual instructions.
When a customer gets your pattern in the mail, they're going to be just so wowed by how it looks. I want everybody to know what they're getting.
The pattern pieces are printed onto A3 sheets and you have all of the instructions. So the paper is completely recycled. It's a stock called EnviroCare, which I buy locally.
Tell us about this little thing in here.
There is a card inside which has a little fabric swatch. When I was doing research in the beginning, a lot of questions that women have when they're sewing is, what kind of fabric should I use? So you have a weight and a swatch that you can take into store, and you can feel that, and you can feel the fabric that you're thinking of and know whether or not it's going to suit.
To me, this is like a real museum piece, just so beautifully produced.
I looked for a long time for packaging material to use. I selected plastic that was really tough. So it's not a plastic that you screw up and put in the bin. This plastic will outlast your pattern. So it's meant to be reused and to hold your pattern and keep it safe.
What actually inspires you about making patterns?
I'm inspired by a whole raft of things. I dream a lot of stuff: film, costuming, musicians especially, fearless kind of style, colour combinations in nature. I spent a lot of time looking at designers in mail order. I worked on 2 international brands and they were really fearless in their approach to photography. They spared no expense on their location or their model selection and really pushed the boundaries in terms of what you would normally see on a page.
What's in the future?
So I've probably got about 16 patents in various stages of completion. When I started my business, I wanted it to be self-funded and sustainable. So as I sell patents, I produce new designs. So, and also doing some homewares, some beautiful cushion designs. A friend of mine's made a documentary about me, which is in post-production now. So she followed me around with her camera for a day. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And when I was shooting the last selection of patents, I worked producing a 2.5-minute sort of fashion movie. I'm also working with another artist friend of mine on producing specific kits for knickers with beautiful silk georgette printed fabric. I also want to produce a book of patents, and I'm working on that with an illustrator friend of mine.
Pamela, thank you so much. We could have talked for ages. So this is just short and sweet. I really hope that you, the listener, has gotten a little bit of a insight into the world of the Maker's Journal. So what I'm going to give you now is a code word that you can use on our website for the next coming week. And I'll have the dates and all the details up on the website, but the code word is roller derby. Go to our blog. You'll see the specials that you will be able to partake using this code word when you check out. That's it, folks. Next week, we're going to have another fabulous designer talk with us. That should be really good as well. So for now, thanks very much, everybody, for listening, and ciao.